So, welcome back to the Weight Escape Holiday Edition. I am excited today because I have Glenn Lundy here. Um, he has an amazing morning show, and it's interesting because I've just been reintroduced to it, and I actually find myself now finding it every morning because I'm like, I need to hear this guy. Like, I need to hear what's going on. This guy lights a fire under me like nobody else. I've only heard of him about 2 weeks ago, so it's kind of really interesting, and you've grabbed me like that. And so, welcome to the show, first of
Oh,
all.
well, thank you. That is such a kind way to introduce me and for us to connect. I truly appreciate that, and I'm glad you enjoyed the show. And yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Motivation, education, inspiration. Let's get this day rolling.
So, I would actually like, my vision for this was to reach people that, maybe need to be reached. As things are getting locked down, we're locking down as
Mm.
human beings. And I'm so inspired by your morning show that I would love to see it, in many, many, many more homes in the morning. But I'd love to get into your morning five if you don't mind sharing about that, because I think, COVID, non-COVID, holiday season, non-holiday season, it's a game changer. Like, I'm
Right.
doing it 5 days and it is a game changer. Um, so I would love for you to share that. But if you wouldn't mind starting, just telling us a little bit about you, because I've read a bit of your story and it's incredible.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. So I am a husband to one and a father to seven, going on eight little kiddos. I've spent over 22 years of my life in the auto industry, working with people in automotive. That's my heart and my love. I love the car business. And then also, yeah, I've got my show, hashtag Rise and Grind, Monday through Friday morning at 5:30 a.m. And the show is really all about motivation, education, and inspiration. And Jen, I just believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact in their life, right? I'm a big fan of that. And so I've lived a couple seasons in my life. I lived a season of where I didn't have good systems. I did hope that didn't mess up. Hold on. I know somehow my phone connected to my headphones and
Oh no.
somebody just tried to call me and it cut out. So let me turn. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Um, but yeah, so I had these seasons, right, where I didn't have systems processes and I kind of spiraled, right? I hit that proverbial rock bottom place and spent a little bit of time homeless, spent some time hopeless, and hopelessness led to depression. Depression led to suicidal thoughts, and ultimately I tried to take my own life late in my 20s, unsuccessfully. Clearly, that was not successful. But yeah, so through all of that, one of the things that I've discovered as I've gone through this journey is just how important the morning is, and really setting a solid foundation, mind, body, and spirit, and how that ultimately feeds into and trickles into every other aspect of your life. And so through that, I have been able to put together what I called the morning five simple steps to an extraordinary life. And I like to use the word simple because they are so simple on paper, but it's not easy to do.
I will attest to that.
That's why it doesn't say, yeah, that's why it doesn't say the five easy steps. It says the five simple steps to an extraordinary life. But these five steps, and anybody that's listening and watching, you can go to themorning5.com, and that's the number five, and you can download my free ebook that breaks down these five steps in full detail. But the brief synopsis of it is: step one, never hit the snooze button. And there's a lot of science to behind why we don't do that. Step two is don't touch your phone first thing in the morning, because I promise you there's nothing in that phone of yours that cannot wait. And you're not ready. Your brain's not ready. Your body's not ready. Like, there's a lot going on out there. Step three is gratitude and goals. Take some time to write down the things that you're thankful for, and then write your goals, the things that you're reaching for. Now, a lot of people are like, Glenn, that's 2 steps, gratitude, goals. And I'm like, no, it's 1 step. And the reason I say that is everybody's been told we should write down our goals. Everybody's always been told that. But what I found in my experience is that a lot of times just writing your goals can actually shift your energy in a negative way. It can cause you to feel less than, like you haven't, you're like, I want more money. I want to be better looking. I want a bigger house, right? Like you're like writing all these things, which makes you feel like where you're at isn't enough. And that's simply not true. That's not facts. So when we start with gratitude, I'm thankful for my home. I'm thankful for my body. I'm thankful for my financial position. But then we stretch and reach for more. That's a positive energy versus a negative energy. So I consider that 1 step. Step 4 is you got to take care of the physical. An object in motion tends to stay in motion, right? I don't care if you crawl, walk, run, play golf, play basketball, hike, just do something, get the body in motion. And then step 5, I believe, is the most powerful step of the entire thing. So you, Jen, has spent the entire morning being incredibly selfish. You are so selfish, Jen. You didn't snooze. You won't talk to anyone on the phone. You didn't go into your social media. You're not answering any of your emails. No one's allowed to talk to you. You're writing down the things you're thankful for and your goals and dreams and aspirations. You're taking care of yourself physically. You've been so selfish. So now what I need you to do, now that you're vibrating at this incredibly awesome frequency, right? You have this positive energy. I need you to release that out into the universe. So step 5 is we send out an encouraging message. And the real power behind that is that energy itself cannot be just created. It can only be converted, and it never dissipates. So the energy you release, when you release that positive energy out into the world, not only does it impact, lift up, and encourage others, but it comes back to you in a converted state that ultimately lifts and encourages you as well. So those 5 steps, you do those every single morning, and I promise you, it makes a massive impact in your life.
I love that. And like I said, it's day 5.
Right?
But I can't believe the difference I'm seeing. And I've never heard it explained. Like I love your step of, gratitude and goals. And, as someone who health coaches and works with people, we do talk about gratitude and we talk about goals, but I have never put them together before. And
Yeah.
even just in 5 days, the way I approach how I see the day by having that gratitude base first going into my goals, I can't even I don't even have words. It's life, that step is life changing. Never
It's
mind.
tremendous.
But that piece is incredible. How did you come up with that?
So lots of trials and errors and studying. I am a student, and so I do a lot of reading and videos. And I noticed the trend, and the trend was real simple. Every successful human has a powerful morning routine. Every single one. I have yet to find one that doesn't. And when I say morning routine, I do like to clarify. I don't care what time you wake up. I'm not sitting here saying you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, or anything like that. Some people, they work night shifts and they go to bed at 7. It's just the first hour when you wake up, whatever time that is for you, right? Utilizing that to build that foundation. And so studying successful humans and then realizing that they all have a routine that tends to hit mind, body, and spirit. It tends to hit all 3 aspects at the same time. In that, and people do it differently. Some people meditate. Some people tend to spend time in prayer. Some people, for everybody, it's a little bit different. But as long as you hit those 3, mind, body, and spirit, that's the key. So I started thinking, okay, what are some practical things that I can do to make sure that I hit all 3, mind, body, and spirit? And through some trial and error and research and study, learning about snooze buttons and learning about the impact of all these crazy notifications on your brain first thing in the morning, I was able to put the 5 steps together in a sequence that not only worked for me, but as I started to teach it to my staff and to my employees, and then ultimately now to tens of thousands of people all around the world, and being able to see the impact that it has, it's been pretty cool to watch.
I bet. So I want to throw a little wrench in at you because I can hear some of my clients. Oh, but I'm not a morning person. I'm not a
Sure,
morning
sure.
person. Life's too chaotic. I can't set the alarm early. I just can't do the hour. What would you tell
Yeah.
somebody like that?
I would say to them, I would start with the most simple and yet profound story that every American anyway at least knows. And I would say, Jen, have you ever heard the story of the three little pigs? And you would say,
Yes.
of course. And I'd say, okay, well let's refresh that story real quick. So we had the first little pig that built his house out of straw, right? He just built his house out of hay and straw. It was really quick. It didn't take a lot of work. He just wanted to get so that he could get back on with whatever else he had going on, the busyness of his life, right? And so the second little pig took a little bit more time and work, took some nails and some hammers and made a house that was made out of wood, kind of halfway in and halfway out, and then ultimately went about its day not wanting to put in the real grind that it takes to build a solid foundation. Now, the third little pig took the time, the effort, the energy, had to do some research, some engineering. How do we put these bricks together? How do we do all these things to build an incredibly solid foundation? Now, when the big bad wolf came, he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house away for the pig that had the straw house, and the little pig had to go running off down the street. And then the big bad wolf went and he puffed and he blew down the house that was made out of wood that had been put together with half the energy and effort. And that little pig went running down the street. And then he went to the third house with the solid foundation and he huffed and he puffed and he blew as hard as he could, and he wasn't able to blow the house down, right? We all know that story. Here's the interesting thing, though, that I think a lot of people miss.
Mhm.
The first little piggy and the second little piggy went to their brother's house and hid in the house while the big bad wolf huffed and puffed, and they were all safe. So not only did the third little piggy take the time, the energy, and the effort to build a solid foundation for herself, but by doing so created a reprieve to where he was able to protect the other people that mattered to him most. When you find the time, and yes, it's work. Yes, it's work. It's not halfway in. It's not the easy route. When you find time, or when you create the time to put in work on self, not only are you creating foundation for you, but you are creating an opportunity to be a reprieve for the people that you love, to be able to protect them when the big bad wolf comes a blowing. And we all know those storms are coming. So that's what I would say to somebody who's like, I'm not a morning person, I don't have the time. Dude, create the time, because there are people that you love, people that you really, really care about, that need you to be built on that solid foundation.
That's pretty powerful. Sorry, I'm just personally letting it land. It's kind of like, whoa. Whoa.
Thank
I
you.
think you're right. Like, I think sometimes we spend so much time taking care of everybody and, doing this here and doing this here and doing this here. And even, myself as a business owner and hearing about morning routines, like I've read books, I've heard people speak. Um, I've never really settled into a good one until the last couple days. And I don't think I've reflected that way about it. About like,
Yeah,
this is my recharge, this is my rebuilding, this is my safe, time to be able to then put myself into the world to weather the storm, whatever that,
that's right.
whether it's a day full of storm or a day
That's right.
not. But I never looked at it like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting fact. So most humans, so like if a human is given an antibiotic, right? They're like, okay, take this antibiotic, you gotta take it 4 times a day for the next 10 days, right? Typically, 90% of people will not finish that antibiotic. As soon as they start to feel a little bit better, they miss one, then they miss three, and everybody's got a bunch of little jars in their medicine cabinet with 3 or 4 pills left, right? We typically don't complete those. So 90% of people won't. However, interesting fact, if your vet tells you to give your dog 1 pill every 6 hours for the next 10 days, nearly 100% of people will complete that antibiotic for that dog. Our concern in our DNA, our compassion for others runs stronger than for our compassion for self. So when you start to realize and shift and understand that a powerful morning routine is really for others, it's not for you, it becomes far more motivating to want to get in there and do it when you know that it's there to serve the ones that you love.
Right. And I'm assuming that's why there's that fifth step of putting it out. That's why you start your day sharing from that great place.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's all about impact, man. I believe we have a born on date, an expiration date, and the little dash in the middle just should say impact. That's would be right across it. How can you make a positive impact in other people's lives? I think that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Yeah, I know personally, reflecting inwards over the last couple of days and sending those messages out. Some have been to clients that I know are struggling. Some have just been to people I haven't talked to for a while, but nothing negative has come back. In
That's
fact, it's
right.
quite the opposite. And then it's, in one of your shows, you said, it's like, well, then the next person goes and the next person goes. And then when it starts going back and forth, you're getting higher and higher. And I think that's crucial, especially right now,
Yeah.
so much uncertainty.
And you just never know, man. I can't tell you how many times I've sent out a message and someone has said, dude, like, you have no idea how much I needed that. Like, most people aren't going to share with you what's really going on behind closed doors, right? And we all have stuff, especially during this very challenging and interesting and unique season. There's a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of mental health things that we need to be aware of. And so sometimes all it takes is to feel seen or to feel loved or to feel appreciated to completely shift your energy on how you're feeling. And I just, it's so easy. It's so easy to send out a message, especially in today's day and age. We have Facebook Messenger, we have text messages, we have emails, we have so many ways to reach someone. And so it's so easy, and I can't help but knowing I have the ability to possibly make an impact on someone with something as easy as a 20-second, you know,
Yeah.
that's all it takes. Like, it gets addicting. You're just like, man, who else can I send a message to? Sometimes I'll end up sending out like 6 messages, It's energizing.
It's totally true. I'm guilty. But what I
Right,
think,
right.
what I've found really interesting the past couple of days too, is not only the messages that I've sent out, but almost every single person has also then turned around and either made a compliment to somebody at work or, sent a message themselves. It was like, wow, okay, this person just reached out to me. Well, I can do that. And it makes me feel kind of good that, what, just by a single thought and a single message, to somebody, who knows what else has been impacted that day because of that.
That's right.
I wouldn't have
Man,
happened.
words matter. They've got so much energy to them, man. Words are the most powerful force in the universe, no doubt.
That's for sure. Awesome. So I really, really appreciate your time. I think that was a big power punch in 20 minutes. What? But if there is one more thing or one thing you could instill on people sort of headed into this holiday season, especially, for some of us, we don't know if we're going to be under lockdown or not. Things are constantly changing. There is so much uncertainty. We don't know if we can rely on the certain things that we're used to having during the holidays. And if we do, they're going to have to look different. So is there anything that you could speak to people, sort of as we look towards that and try to do it in the highest and healthiest way possible?
Yeah, I think we'll end this with a little bit of a visual, but I want to start it by saying, all things are created for your good, right? All things. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way, and I totally get that. But when you shift your mind and start to look at things that way, right? Like, what's good about this, right? Just asking yourself that question all the time. What's good about this? Well, I just burnt my hand with an iron. What's good about this? Well, what's good about this is I have an iron that works. And there are a lot of people out there that don't have that luxury. good about this is I have electricity, and there are a lot of people out there that don't have that luxury. And what's good about this is I will be far more careful the next time I'm ironing to not burn my hand, right? So there's always ways to say, okay, what's good about this? All things are for my good. So during this season, there's going to be an influx, massive influx. There already has been a massive influx of negative thoughts, negative ideas, negative concepts, negative beliefs, negative behaviors from adults, which has been really astonishing over the last few months. But there's going to be a massive influx of that. And I want everyone to picture real quick. I want you to picture your mind like a champagne tower, right? You've got this beautiful champagne tower. You're at a fancy wedding, wherever you want to, maybe you're on a beach, right? I like beaches. So you're on a beach and you see this beautiful champagne tower, and this is how your mind works. So in a champagne tower, when you pour the champagne into that top glass, it ultimately trickles down into every single other glass that's in that tower. That's how it works. So we have one input that feeds into every other aspect. Your mind works the same way, right? So now let's take that champagne tower, and you've got this champagne, it's pouring down, it's bubbly, it's frothy, it's beautiful, it's all that, right? It looks delicious. And then you go and you take a little red food coloring, and you put just one drop of red food coloring in that very top glass. Well, what ends up happening, right? That red trickles down into every other aspect of that champagne tower. It will touch all of it. So I want you to picture this. If your mind's like that champagne tower and you've got everything flowing, right? Your energy, the champagne's flowing, it's going in and ultimately touching every aspect of your life, your relationships, your finances, your well-being, your health, your fitness. All of those classes are being impacted by what goes in. We get a little negativity, we get some division, we get some hatred, we get some racism, we get some violence, right? Something like that. That's that little red drop. And it is literally going to go through, it's going to flow through, and it's going to affect and impact every aspect of your life. It just has no choice. That's how our mind works. It's going to affect your relationship. It's going to affect your finances. It's going to affect your health. It's going to affect everything. And so knowing that, there's really only one way to keep that red drop from sitting and stewing and making a lasting impact. And that is we have to continue to pour in more champagne, right? We got to wash it out from the top. That's the only way you're going to get that red out of there. And so this season, as there's lots of red drops that are coming from all over, I just suggest everyone focus, especially first thing in the morning. I'm begging you to focus on increasing the inputs of things that are positive, things that are motivational, things that are inspirational, things that are truly educational in a positive way. That are going to help you add confidence so that we can continue to flush out all of this information. You sit in it, you stew in it, it will impact and affect everything around you. You wash it all out, then that's a whole different experience. So that's how I'd like to leave it with that particular image. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Keep those inputs coming, keep them positive, keep those champagne glasses clean.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. I so am grateful for your time. We have Glenn's website, so feel free to jump on there and download his Morning 5. It is incredible. It is life-changing. I said day 5, and I'm like wanting to get up in the morning now and do it, which I never thought I would say. So that's saying something. Rise and grind, hashtag rise and grind is where Glenn's at, and check him out. Like, really, honestly, give it a chance, because he speaks so eloquently and so passionately every morning that even if it's not something you can do on a daily basis, you're going to get something of it. You're going to definitely get something from it. So thank you again. Lots of respect. And to our listeners, we will see you on our next video.